like what you see.
You got that right, gorgeous. Welcome to Furry Girl Profiles episode 27. Today we're heading back into the 1980s to take a look at a sexy kitty who personified the look very well. And that character's name is Cleo. If fellas went in on this pussy, they gotta put a ring on it, an expensive bracelet, and still take her out to dinner. Cleo was a main character from the cartoon short The Cadillac Cats, which served as the second half of the 1984 TV series Heathcliff. Since it was 1984, it was only natural that Cleo rocked a very 1980s style. She was a very attractive cream-colored cat. Her red hair was big and puffy, which was the trend at the time, alongside her pink leg warmers. Cleo was a pet cat who lived inside of a music store, along with her friend Bush the dog. And even though this particular kitty loves it clean and tidy, she often hung out with a group of troublemaking pranksters that lived in a junkyard known as the Cadillac Cats. The shortest of the group, known as Riffraff, was not only the leader, but also her boyfriend.
I am your future.
Oh, Riffy.
In fact, Cleo's been with the Cadillac Cats from the very beginning. That's because she is one. This truth was unveiled to us in Christmas memories. This episode served as a very major role for Cleo. Acting as the heart of the group, not only did she inspire them to work together, but she was the very one who came up with the name Cadillac Cats.
Not a bad bunch, but we ought to have a name.
How about the Cadillac Cats? The caddy did save you.
She's also the reason Wordsworth has his famous headset. Even though Cleo's personality is usually sweet and kind, on occasions, she proved to us that she had the attitude of a saber-tooth.
May I be seated, miss?
As long as your legs don't bend the wrong way, why not?
That's right, before Minerva Mink came along, there was Cleo. Cleo on occasions could be vain, spoiled, and very self-entitled. And even though she didn't live in a junkyard, she commanded a lot of respect, sometimes more than Riffraff. When this gorgeous kitty wanted something, she often got it. And as her boyfriend, Riffraff often took the blunt of these demands, who, throughout numerous episodes, would stoop to any low just to impress her. While some of her demands are easier than others, at other times, not so much.
What kind of girl do you think I am? I'm here to want diamonds and jewels. I mean, I just don't go out with you for nothing, you know. I want something in return.
Even though they genuinely cared for each other, because of their unsteady relationship, it at times put them at odds with each other from outside forces, leading to moments where Riff would either have to fight for her, or to moments of complete misunderstandings in the relationship.
Then maybe you can explain this, too.
Another big moment in their relationship, as seen in Kitten around, showed us that not even Cleo's beauty was enough to keep Riffraff's eyes from wandering. In this episode, Riffraff wanted to take him and Cleo's friends with benefits relationship into something more committed. But not even 5 minutes after they make the commitment official, Riffraff goes back on his word. But when Cleo finds out about the deception, she punishes them both in the best way she can. They say hell has no fury like a woman's scorn, and Riffraff felt the full force of the burn. By the end of the night, not only did Riffraff have no girl, but his friends took off on him too. But because this cartoon had no continuity, nothing more ever came of it, and the show went on as if it never happened. This has been Furry Girl Profiles Cleo. Subscribe for future videos, and I'll see you next time. Romantic rivalry in fiction is inevitable sometimes. Which means, if you are the main girl of a series, you might find yourself in an uphill battle for a guy's affections.
Heathcliff, no one should.
In episode 27, we took our first jump back into 1984's Heathcliff to focus on the heart of the Cadillac Cats, Cleo. The TV show Heathcliff featured the Cadillac Cats as the second half of the show, where both Cleo and Riffraff made their only appearances. During the Cadillac Cats, as a couple that had the type of relationship where neither had to be permanently tied down to each other, Riffraff in numerous episodes would pull many stunts in order to impress Cleo. In one particular episode, Riffraff wanted to take the relationship to another level. This took place in episode Kitten Around. The leader of the gang, Riffraff, makes the gang clean up the junkyard for once because he had an important question to ask Cleo.
Well, what it is, Cleo, is that I want you to be my steady girl.
Well, that means no other girls for you, too.
You got it.
A little while after Riffraff and Cleo made their commitment to each other, the gang comes by with some news about a new girl in town. Though he tries to stay committed, once Riffraff takes a look at the new girl, he immediately forgets about Scout's honor. I mean, come on, she makes a very convincing introduction. You know, for the kids.
I'm Roxie, and I'm new in the neighborhood.
I'm Riffraff, the local welcome wagon. Now, come with me to the Casbah.
In order to get with Roxie, Riffraff neglects to mention Cleo, all the while bullying his friends around in order to do his dirty work.
How could I turn down such an offer? That is, unless you were expecting another date.
In typical male fashion, Riffraff tries to get it on as soon as possible.
First, we eat.
Unfortunately, Roxie is the type of girl that will make you work first. But while Riffraff is trying to get some on the side, his real girlfriend is getting concerned.
I'd be seeing my steady Riffraff tonight.
Outside of the music store, however, Cleo witnessed the other gang stealing food, and in her own words, it was enough to feed an army.
Did Riffraff send you over with these treats for me?
Gee, no, Cleo. These are for Roxie and Riffraff's dinner. I'm supposed to keep it quiet.
Roxie, eh?
It was safe to say, Riffraff was crossing the line, more ways than one. Not only does he two-time on Cleo, but he treats his friends like servants.
We're suckers to wait on him and that Roxie.
However, thanks to a little bit of help from Mungo, Cleo becomes wise to Riffraff's scheme and begins sabotaging Riffraff and Roxie's dinner.
Spice up his meal.
She's a bitch when you say my name. Talk more junk, but won't look my way. She's a bitch, see I got more cheese. So back on up while I roll up my sleeve. She's a bitch, you can't see me, Joe. Get on down while I shoot the flow.
Wow! What gives with this food? I can take a joke as well as anyone, lover boy. But this menu is not funny.
In the midst of Cleo's fury, Riffraff has to practically beg Roxie to stay.
But I don't have a lot of girls. There's only you.
Who would have thought Riffraff was such an asshole?
Catnip to get us back in the mood. Catnip!
She's a bitch when you say my name. Talk more junk, but won't look my way. She's a bitch, see I got more cheese. So back on up while I roll up my sleeve. She's a bitch, you can't see me, Joe. Get on down while I shoot the flow.
Instead of a bag full of catnip, Riffraff and Roxie got a bag full of everything else that sent them flying around the room like a game of Pong. And Cleo was far from done.
Needs more pepper.
Yes, because you can never destroy one's evening enough without enough pepper. Eventually, Cleo let the cat out of the bag, and she soon let him out of the door too, leaving her and Roxie alone to have a little chat about stealing one's man.
Hold it! Who are you to come waltzing in here and break up me and my new boyfriend?
Correction! My old boyfriend.
Wait a minute! You mean Riffraff is two-timing you?
Thing is, Roxie was never a bad girl to begin with. She didn't even know Riffraff was cheating.
Hold it, honey. I'm not the enemy. I never knew.
After all misunderstandings were cleared up, this unholy alliance decided to teach Riffraff the lesson.
They're fighting over me. I'm flattered. Listen, girls, no need to fight over me.
You're right, Riffraff, darling.
Right. Anyone can make a stupid mistake.
And it seems Riffraff was the one that made the mistake. After leaving Riffraff's house in shambles, the others decided it was best that Riffraff spend the evening alone. But because this cartoon had no continuity, this plot was never followed upon. Cleo and Riffraff will be back together in the next cartoon as if it never happened. Our tour in the world of female anthropomorphic animation takes us back into our third look of 1984's Heathcliff and the Cadillac Cats. Today we take a look at the gorgeous blue-eyed blonde, Dixie. While she only made a one-time appearance, fans will remember this Southern Belle most for her very strong resemblance to Minerva Mink, though keeping in mind Dixie is a cat and Minerva is a mink. And it wasn't just Minerva Mink that Dixie resembled. Besides a few detail changes to their designs, Dixie also looked like a recolor of Roxie, another character who made a one-time appearance in the TV series. Dixie appeared during the segment The Games of Love. When the episode takes off, we see poor Mungo run onto the track field trying to get away from a group of dogs. We shortly after get our very first look at the gorgeous Dixie practicing for the track meet. And Mungo apparently agreed, because one look at her he already fell in love.
Who are you?
I'm, in love.
Huh?
It didn't take very long for sparks to ignite between her and Mungo.
Mungo?
You're kinda cute.
It's just too bad her brother Jake didn't agree. In protest, Jake would go to the junkyard looking for him. Jake didn't want anyone interrupting Dixie's prep time for the track meet, but when Hector lies and tells him that Mungo is in the games, Jake would issue a challenge.
Is good enough to beat me. He's good enough for my sister.
In order to now save their skins, Mungo undergoes training, but when it proves to be a complete and utter disaster, Hector has to come up with a new plan. Before Mungo went to go take Jake's challenge, he mustered up the courage to ask Dixie out.
I'd like that.
You would?
Yeah, I would.
What can you say? Mungo's dopey, but he's lovable. However, being lovable wasn't going to help Mungo win this game by a long shot. So Hector and Wordsworth devised a plan to sabotage Jake into losing. Dixie hears the commotion nearby and comes to protect the trio before Jake has a chance to cause them any harm. Jake, being big and intimidating, holds no water when Dixie lays down the law.
I'm gonna go on a date with Mungo, whether you like it or not, so the deal's off.
Well, at least Mungo got a happy ending out of this. This has been another edition of Furry Girl Profiles. If you liked today's video, please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe for future videos. My name is Jawbreaker, and I thank you for watching Playfur Cinema. After a long recess from the series, we jump back into 1984's Heathcliff. Our featured lady was a one-time appearance in the second half of the cartoon under the Cadillac Cats, during The Babysitters. She was a traveling circus lion without a specific name, so she's just considered Mother Lion. She was voice played by Marilyn Schreffler, who also provided the voice for Tammy, Roxie, and Dixie.
My baby!
Along the way, her vehicle hits a bump in the road, and her baby magically slips through the bars and bounces all the way to Riffraff's house. The group becomes temporary babysitters, especially Riffraff, who becomes substitute mother. While the baby drove the gang nuts through the night and continued to noticeably become inconsistent in size, eventually the mother lion will return to the junkyard in order to retrieve him. The only problem is that she couldn't see well in the dark. She ends up fishing out Hector, then Wordsworth, then eventually grabs Mungo and mistakes him for her baby. But it had to been no more than a few hours. What was going on in this episode? Hector and Wordsworth had to put an Amber Alert out on Mungo when they report to Riffraff that the mother ran off with him thinking he was her child. They end up waiting till morning to take the baby back to the circus to exchange for Mungo. By morning, less than 24 hours, that same baby was now about the size of an average human. Cleo pulls up in a car and rescues the gang, where they end up driving off to the circus. Meanwhile, the mother lion began the process of teaching her supposed child Mungo of how to jump through flaming hoops. To his complete and utter dismay.
You have to, son. If you don't do tricks, you don't eat.
At this point, there was better lighting in the circus tent than there was in the junkyard, and she still couldn't tell her actual baby from Mungo. You would then have to draw the conclusion about her that she was an extremely ditzy character. When she turns her back to speak with the other lions, Mungo gets away from her, but it doesn't last long before she finds him again. The next scene, we saw the sheer size difference between them, as the lioness towered over him like a tree. In order to make things easier for him, she would then roleplay as the lion tamer, trying to teach him how to be intimidating for the audience, rewarding him with food, and still trying to get him to jump through the ring. Mungo is a rather lazy character, not even built for physical performance. But if nothing else, Mama Lion was very patient.
Now come on, baby. We're going to do this over and over till you get it right. Then you'll get your reward.
By the time Riffraff and the gang pulled up to the circus tent, the show was just beginning. The Mama Lion must have made Mungo perform the trick so much he was hypnotized when the spotlight was on him. Shortly later, she saw her real baby from her cage. She would then take a look over at Mungo, then take a look at herself in the mirror, then take another look at her real baby, then examine herself in the mirror once more before she figured out who her real kid was. She would then bend the bars with super-like strength, then run to his rescue. The net catchers would come out from both ends and pursue both her and her son. They would reunite and sidestep their chasers. And so, the episode ends with a happy ending. Thank you for tuning into another episode of Furry Girl Profiles. Remember, if you like today's video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe for future content. My name is Jailbreaker, and I thank you for watching Playfur Cinema.